So what we're seeing is basically everything that happened, his final moments. But is it really the truth? What just happened? An image appeared in the pool. A final message from the victim's soul, the last communication of his Mitama. The divination seance has revealed this to us. Her benevolence can use her power of spirit communion to project the victim's memories of the last few moments before their demise. So what we saw in the pool is what Mr. Rawl actually experienced. In the victim's memories, we see the accused raising a weapon up over his head. This is consistent with the findings of the police investigation. There has to be some kind of mistake. I didn't do it. This looks bad for Ahl'bi. Really, really bad. Now do you see why I'm the incredible pain? More than I can express. But even if those really are the victim's last memories, what can I do with them? There it is. There's the face of a man being utterly crushed. Oh, how long I've waited to see it. Isn't it wonderfully gratifying, Your Majesty? Oh yes, very satisfying indeed. Now you finally convinced Traveler the accused is most assuredly guilty. Am I really the only unbiased one here? Now then, I think we've been amused enough. If you give up now, I won't even invoke the Defense Culpability Act against you. You'd be free to slink back to your own country with your tail between your legs. The Defense Culpability Act? What's that? What? You mean you honestly don't know? No. What's with all the hubbub?
Well, well. Not only is he a lying, black-hearted lawyer, he's also an imbecile. Your Majesty, I think you'd better explain the Defense Culpability Act to him.
Yes, I think I'd better. The Defense Culpability Act, or DC Act for short, is as follows. In the name of Her Eminence, those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In other words, if you help the accused by defending him, and he is found guilty, you will receive the same sentence as he. What? What kind of insane law is that? Under the DC Act, many an attorney has been convicted and met with a grim fate. Some went to prison, others received the death penalty. That's why there are so few in our country today who admit to being an attorney.
That's as it should be. The history of our courts proves that. Attorneys are black-souled creatures who will tell any lie to save the accused. Thus, attorneys deserve to be exterminated!
Exterminate! Annihilate!
I've never felt so much hostility coming at me from so many sides. What could have happened to make everyone feel this way? You fell right into my trap, Phoenix Wright. Your win streak against me and my brother ends today. With the Seance and the DC Act on my side, I'll finally get my revenge. So that's why he was so eager to have me defend Ahl'bi. Chased out and humiliated back home, fate brought me to the foothills of Khura'in. I thank my lucky stars that I'm chief prosecutor here now. Defense, know that if I rule that the accused is guilty, you will go to prison too. That explains Ahl'bi's reaction earlier. Defend me? Mr. Wright, what are you saying? You can't do that! Your Majesty, isn't a prison sentence a bit lenient? After all, we're talking about treason. One should pay for such a crime with one's life. Yes, I believe the death penalty might be appropriate under these circumstances. The death penalty? No way. You're kidding, right, Your Majesty? Do I look like I'm kidding? I'll have you put your life and your dark-tainted soul on the line here. Death? This can't be happening.
The courts of resignation. Our courts are well known as thus. In this land where my seances provide the truth and no attorneys can intervene, criminals know that all they can do is resign themselves to their fate.
Oh, foreign lawyer, I ask you once more. Are you sure you still want to defend the accused? There's Maya to think of in all this, too. I can't just lay down my life. What in the world should I do? Continue! What else? Isn't this why I became a lawyer in the first place? To help those with no one on their side? I can't just abandon everything I believe in. All I can do now is stand firm and fight. Well, don't hold your tears back on my account, Phoenix Wright. Admit your defeat and grovel before me, the chief prosecutor for your life.
Objection!
Hell no! Even if it means being subject to the Defense Culpability Act, I will defend Ahl'bi. What? But Mr. Wright! The defendant insists he's innocent, and not even a divination seance should be accepted without examination. That's Phoenix Wright for ya. Pokunka! But if I'm found guilty, you'll get the death penalty too, even knowing that you still want to defend me? I don't know what happened in the past, but it looks like everyone in this country considers lawyers to be liars. So I can understand if you don't believe me. But I still believe in you and your innocence. So all I have to do is keep believing and find the truth. That's all there is to it.
Barb-headed attorney, you continue to amuse me. Though your barbed jabs are proven to be more than mere jokes.
Your benevolence? Believe me when I say that this attorney will knock your insides out! Insolent, disrespectful attorney! You'll have plenty of time to regret your folly in the Twilight Realm! Not a wise move, traveler. Not wise at all. You should have taken the chance I offered to save your life. But you have made your choice. The Defense Culpability Act will be applied in this case. And with this verdict, you'll both soon be parting with your heads.
Death! 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 Death!
The souls of the departed speak only the truth, and I but give their messages a voice. If you think my insights contain falsehood, I challenge you to prove it.
Begin insight. Rafa's insight.
The accused swung whatever he was holding down on the victim's head. With the pain, the victim's vision went dark. This is when he lost his life. Still, I can't believe it. A murder after the morning dance of devotion? These are the victim's experiences just before his death.
As the victim's final memories, we can assume they aren't lies. So how do I break this down?
Allow me to relieve you of your ignorance, defense. Did you notice the words that appeared in the seance vision?
Come to think of it, I did see words, like Song of Ceremony and Incense.
The victim's final memories are not limited to sight alone. Sight, smell, taste, sound, touch, all is laid bare in the pool of souls.
So what Mr. Roll experienced with his five senses appears in the vision as words, right?
Precisely. And by examining these sensations, We can perceive the victim's final moments with unparalleled clarity.
Works for me. I can use all the extra information I can get. Now to find a contradiction between her insights and the seance vision. Your benevolence, I ask that you please show me the seance vision again.
Very well.
Now we're seeing everything as it happens. Wait a minute. Her benevolence said after the morning dance of devotion earlier, didn't she? Isn't there something off about that? First, I'll use the left analog stick left and right to make my way to the insight that seemed off. Yes, this is the insight that sounded funny. Now I'll just carefully compare this insight with the seance vision. If I notice a sensation that seems contradictory, I'll select it. This is it. This is the part of the vision that contradicts the insight. Now I just select the sensation I think that's inconsistent and then press X in it. Sound. Yep, it's sound.
Objection!
Wait just a moment.
Yes? What is it, Barbhead?
You're saying the incident occurred after the morning dance of devotion, right?
That's right. What of it?
Then isn't it strange that Mr. Roll could still hear the song of ceremony? Oh my, you're absolutely right.
Is that all that troubles you?
Huh?
What the victim heard was just a practice run of the Song of Ceremony.
Practice run? What are you talking about?
Mr. Payne, if you would.
Certainly. Allow me to explain. The incident occurred in the interval between the morning and afternoon dances. During that time, the singers were practicing in the performance hall.
Precisely. I was there as well, so I can corroborate this statement.
I see. So what the victim heard was that practice session. Ugh. There goes my contradiction. Okay, so they were practicing in this performance hall. That must be the room where Ahl'bi and I saw her benevolence dancing. However, Mr. Payne, I admit one detail troubles me. Ask away, Your Majesty. It's a big temple. The performance hall and treasure room are quite far from each other. Could the song really be heard all the way in the treasure room? He's right. It is a very big temple. Well, how about it, Mr. Payne? Your Majesty, have you forgotten? There are speakers in every room of Temple, including the treasure room. Oh, that's right. Speakers? For what purpose? Are you serious, Mr. Wright? They're to broadcast the sacred music of the performance hall throughout the temple.
That's why the victim could hear the Song of Ceremony in the seance vision. It was the practice run going on in the performance hall, heard over the speakers.
Thank you for your explanation, Your Benevolence. That makes perfect sense, even to a feeble-minded old man like me.
Think nothing of it.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, could you please alter your insights for us?
Very well.
Insight revised. I think I'm getting the hang of this. If I point out an inconsistency, she'll update her insights accordingly. So if I keep pointing things out, maybe I can knock all of her insights out after all. I better find another inconsistency, no matter how small. accused... It's a bit hard to focus on the insights with the Seance vision going. I'll try using pause to temporarily stop the vision. There, I paused the vision. I think I can use A and Y to jump to different parts of the vision. I'll try moving the Metama out of the flashing red panel there. Okay, now that I know how to get around in Seance vision, it's time to find inconsistencies between the insights and the vision. Yep, let us... Wait for it. Within the pain, the victim's vision went dark. That is when he lost his life. Yeah. Oh yeah, we just keep going. We'll just keep going. Play. Pause. Right there, statement 2. And we choose the pain, the feeling of touch.
Objection!
You're saying the victim's field of vision went dark right after he was struck, correct?
Of course, as anyone with eyes can see.
Well, pardon me, but I must disagree.
What?
Your benevolence, please take another look at the exact moment the victim felt pain. Oh! Everything goes black, and then only after that, the victim feels pain. Inconceivable! This places the order of events at odds with what you say happened. My word! Pokonka! Your benevolence! What is the meaning of this?
I cannot be wrong. My insights are beyond fallacy.
If what the defense says is true, this is a very grave matter indeed. Please forgive me, your benevolence, but I'm afraid this contradiction is something we simply can't ignore.
Objection!
Now, let's not be too hasty, your majesty. I think I can clear this up. You have something to add, Mr. Payne? 1,000 apologies. It seems the prosecution has failed to make one tiny thing clear. And that would be... On the day of the incident, there was a power outage, a blackout in one part of the temple. And as I recall, the crime scene was in that sector. The power outage must be why the victim's field of vision went dark. I apologize for neglecting to tell the court this detail. I'm afraid it slipped my mind. Or rather, you knew all along and are only letting it slip now that it's convenient, Payne. The power outage knocked out both the lights and the speakers.
Oh, there was a blackout there, was there? Well now, that explains everything, does it not?
What do you mean, your benevolence? Please share your thoughts with us, if you would.
The blackout occurred when the accused and the victim were faced with one another. Fearing the victim would flee under the cover of darkness, the accused swiftly brought his weapon down on the victim's head.
I see. That makes perfect sense, your benevolence. So the victim was struck after the lights went out. I hate this guy. The depth of your insight is awe-inspiring, your benevolence. Give her a hand, everyone. Hey, I want to live long and prosper too. As do I. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy.
Enough applause. You flatter me.
Now, your benevolence, in light of this new information...
Yes, of course. I will alter my insight.
Insight has been revised. Now it's changed to, one can safely assume the accused struck the victim the moment after the blackout began. So much for my inconsistency. At least I was able to draw out some new information. And with this new info comes a chance to find new inconsistencies. Now to compare the insights with the vision again and see what else I can dig out. Now we gotta keep going. But honestly, what's the point? We're just gonna fast forward. Nope, that's not it. We're gonna fast forward. Nope, no. Right there. Aha! Bingo! Exactly. Right here. Yeah, present statement 3 and then choose this.
Objection!
Yes, I finally found it. This is the gaping hole I've been looking for.
Your benevolence, as impressive as your spirit communion power is, it's not infallible. You never know when to stop talking, do you? I hope you realize your words are an insult to all adherents of Khura'inism.
Defense, watch what you say. If you don't mind that tongue of yours, you won't have one left to mind.
It's certainly not my intention to insult spirit mediums. But maybe I'm not the one who needs to learn when to stop talking. What malarkey? I believe you said a few moments ago that the victim could hear the Song of Ceremony thanks to the temple speakers. But then how do you explain how the victim could still hear the Song of Ceremony even after the power went out? Oh, this contradiction of facts can only mean that the Song of Ceremony Mr. Roll heard was not coming from the speakers.
What? Impossible! What are you saying? That the song he heard was coming directly from the performance hall?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the only possible explanation.
But the scene of the crime was nowhere near the performance hall.
Right. This song couldn't make it all the way to the treasure room. Not unless... You mean to say... Yes, the treasure room was not the actual scene of the crime. It must have been somewhere else. Somewhere closer to the performance hall.
What? You can't be serious.
There is a glaring contradiction in the claims of her benevolence and the prosecution. Therefore, the defense insists that the case be thoroughly re-examined.
What? No! This is completely unprecedented. An inconsistency in her benevolence's insights? Unbelievable.
Heed not his forked tongue, your majesty. These are but the claims of a corrupt lawyer, a feeble ruse from a feeble mind.
But the contradiction revealed by the defense is undeniable. We can't just turn a blind eye to it. But the defense's assertion is in the end meaningless.
Even if the location of the murder turned out to be different, it doesn't change what we've seen of the moment of the murder. Indeed. The accused is standing right here and there in front of the victim. Furthermore, the murder weapon remains raised above his head. My insights still stand.
I hate to admit it, but she's right. The Seance vision still makes the situation look really grim for Ahl'bi.
I doubt even the defense can dream up an explanation as to why. The accused had his hands up over his head. Well, this defense dares to dream
of making it out of this nightmare alive.
You what? You still insist on trying to tear down my insights, do you? You better be prepared to back up your claim. Remember what will happen to that tongue of yours if we find you are just wagging it.
Of course I can back up my claim, just as soon as I think of something. You appear to be fully prepared, defense. As the embodiment of this court, I give you permission to try and prove your claim, as long as you're willing to stake your life on it.
I concur, your majesty. Prepare the tongue shears. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop? Yes, let's have the bailiff fetch them. I think I saw a suitable pair in the basement. Chop, chop.
Stop. I hear that lying lawyers have several tongues to spare. I'm sure he won't miss one. Yikes! These people are actually serious! I'm rather attached to my tongue. Think, Phoenix, think! Other than to raise a weapon, why would Ahl'bi have his hands held up like that? Aha! So that's why. The reason the defendant had his hands up over his head can be explained by something in the crime photo. What explains why Ahl'bi had his hands raised above his head? Simple. The pistol.
Take that!
As in the Seance vision, I witnessed the defendant raise both of his hands over his head yesterday.
You did? Where did you see such a thing?
When the police had their guns trained on him as they made their arrest.
Oh, are you saying?
The victim was a security guard, and an armed one at that. The defense proposes that the victim had pointed his firearm at Ahl'bi, and that's why the defendant's hands were raised in the air. Por concha!
Yeah, she fainted.
Who would have thought the seance vision could be interpreted that way? This is not possible. It can't be. Not bad for a total knockout. How dare that lawyer devil go against their benevolence? He's no better than that traitorous snake, Dirk.
Traitorous snake? Dirk? Who's that?
No, I can't believe it. A contradiction in one of my insights? There has to be some kind of mistake. I won't accept it! That's right, your benevolence, and I won't accept it either. It goes against all we hold sacred. Throw him in jail immediately for less majesty.
What?
Yeah, you said it. Throw him in jail. Yes, make him pay for the way he disrespected our benevolence.
Ugh, these people are definitely not my fans right now.
That's right, exterminate him.
Peace. Give me peace. I said peace. Now, everyone, please calm down. Is he? Your Majesty, please assign this black-hearted attorney a suitable punishment. No, I can't charge him with less majesty.
What?
What? But why not, Your Majesty? He was simply following the proper procedure for defending the accused. There's nothing unlawful about that.
But, Your Majesty, don't you want to wrap this trial up quickly? Why not just give your verdict? Then you can go home and make it up to your wife.
We can't end the trial now. Not when we just learned new information about the case.
What? Your Majesty! Not you too! You would honestly entertain the idea that my insight contains a contradiction?
Truly, it is shocking. In the 20-plus years since the DC Act went into effect, such a thing has never occurred. To be honest, I didn't want to believe it either. But with his life on the line, the defense pointed out an inconsistency, and it is our duty to scrutinize it to the satisfaction of the law.
You dare go against the royal priestess, you non-believer!
No, my faith is as strong as ever, but I have a duty to make a fair ruling in this trial. If you insist on interfering with that process, Your Benevolence, I'm afraid I must request your removal from this courtroom, royal priestess or not.
What? I'll have you know.
Your Benevolence? Please acquiesce in this, Your Benevolence.
If looks could kill, I won't forget this offense, Barbhead. I do not admit defeat. I won't.
Bailiff, please see Her Benevolence out.
Your Mitama will face due retribution in the Twilight Realm. The demons there they'll pluck the bombs right off your stupid head. I hope your suffering will be super duper painful. And I hope they throw you in a lake of burning fire, yeah. And then.
What a spoiled brat. I guess she's still just a teenager after all. Now then, defense. Mr. Light, was it? That's right, Your Majesty. Phoenix Wright. Of course. Mr. Wright, my apologies. Well, now that we have this newly uncovered fact, I suggest we proceed with arguments. Thank you, Your Majesty. Yes, but do not misunderstand me. This doesn't mean I trust you completely. I'll be keeping a close eye on you, so don't even think about lying to this court. I understand, Your Majesty. Phew. Maybe now we can finally run a real trial. Arguments, Your Majesty. Very well, I accept your challenge. Huh? What's with him? Oh, the look on your face, Mr. Wright. It's just too hilarious. What's so funny, Mr. Payne? The defense still doesn't get it. The truth he unearthed is gonna bury him in his case instead. What do you mean by that, prosecutor? I told you, it's chief prosecutor. Yes, because that's the thing to focus on right now. The defense is digging its own grave. Consider this, your majesty. Why would the victim, a security guard, point a gun at the accused? Oh? Oh, indeed, because the accused was about to commit a theft. It's the only logical explanation. What? That does sound pretty logical, actually. Doesn't help the accused's situation at all. If anything, it makes him look even more guilty. Yes, I have to agree. Allow me to spell out this truth the defense didn't bother to think through. Mr. Roll came across the accused just as he was trying to steal the treasure. The guard pointed his gun at the accused, and just when the power went out, the accused murdered the victim and hid his body in the treasure room. A hand truck for moving heavy treasure around is stored in the treasure room. The accused could have easily moved the body with that. And after all that hard work to knock down those insides, back into the old familiar corner once more. Mr. Wright, do you have a rebuttal? I'm drawing a total blank here. I hope you're ready to climb that scaffold. I asked you a question, defense. I've got nothing. I can't think of any grounds for an objection. The only thing to do at this point is ask the defendant what happened. But I don't know if Ahl'bi will cooperate with me or not. Ahl'bi? Will you tell us what really happened? You don't have to say anything, accused. Fall for his evil trap and you'll only dirty your own soul. Ahl'bi, you have to tell me the truth. I can't help you unless you do. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry. Why? Why won't he trust me? Is this it? Is this the end? For both of us? Maya, I'm sorry. I never met a real lawyer before. Everybody always told me they're bad. Bad people who help dirty criminals go free. I never thought a lawyer would actually try to help me. Would actually believe in me. Would risk his own life for me. I never would have ever even imagined it. Ahl'bi. So, that's why I lied. To try and save myself. But I'm not gonna lie anymore. If you believe in me enough to put your life on the line, then I'm gonna believe in you too. What? Allow me. Allow me to explain. Now we're talking. Time to finally get to the bottom of things. To be honest, I went into the treasure room lots of times to look at the treasure box. Even though the temple told you weren't allowed to go anywhere near it? Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Roll even saw me once and scolded me. That box is so beautiful. The way it glows in the dark. I couldn't help myself. Wait, it glows in the dark? That's right. It's covered in this special mineral called fluorinite that makes it glow. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's really a shame they don't put it on display for the public. Can you imagine how many people would go on night tours of the temple if they did? Only he applied such passion to telling me the truth earlier. Treasure box has been updated in the court record. On the day of the incident, I was on my way to the treasure room again. When I ran into Mr. Raw on the great stairs. So those were not the treasure room stairs in the seance vision?
No, they were the great stairs that connect to the hallway.
Makes sense. The victim wasn't clear enough to show us what was at the top of the stairs. Temple diagram added to the court record.
All of a sudden, Mr. Roll drew his gun and threatened me with it. I quickly put my hands up. Mr. Roll, he acted so scary. For some reason, he had his scarf over his mouth. I couldn't read his expression at all. Just then, the power went out, so I took that chance to hightail it out of there. I ran for my life, even now when I try to think back on it. All I can remember are the gun and the piercing look in Mr. Roll's eyes. That must have been when I dropped the notice scroll. Which means someone else brought it to the treasure room along with Mr. Roll's body. Did Mr. Roll say anything to you when you ran into him on the stairs?
What is it, Ahl'bi?
I have no idea why, but he asked me a strange question. Did you steal it? He said.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't say all this before. I didn't think anybody would have believed me. A grand speech. One that confirmed my suspicions that you were the thief.
Objection!
It's possible the victim simply misread the situation.
Objection!
Where there's smoke, there's fire, as they say. The victim must have had good reason to be suspicious of the accused.
Why does every new piece of information have to seem so incriminating?
Shadow. What do I do, Shadow? And what better reason to suspect a boy than seeing the treasure box in his hands? In the course of his rounds, the victim must have noticed the treasure had been stolen. And then just after that, he ran into the accused. I'll be your guide. No, that's not what happened. Therefore, the one who stole the treasure and killed the victim can be none other than the accused. Ah!
Is that a dog?
What now? Hey, Shadow! Down, boy!
Well, what do we have here?
I'm sorry about this. This is my dog, Shadow.
You nearly gave me a heart attack.
So that's what was making his bag move. Can't you quiet that yappy mutt down? Shadow says that Mr. Raw made a mistake. You can understand him? Don't tell me this is a surprise witness for the defense.
I beg your pardon? You're not thinking of cross-examining an animal, are you?
Of course not, Your Majesty.
Not this time, anyway.
Phew.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I thought I'd have to reassess my assessment of your sanity for a second there.
I think I'd better reassess my strategy, and fast. I have to somehow show that somebody else could have struck the victim, or we're sunk. While it's true that the defendant was standing in front of the victim when he died, it doesn't mean somebody else could have struck the victim at the time.
If you're gonna go that far, then I hope this means you have another angle of approach ready.
Exactly! I mean, who but the accused standing front and center could have done it? Unless you can back up your claim, it's nothing more than conjecture. Okay, come on, Phoenix. I know I can think of something convincing. Where else could the victim have struck from?
Well, what else? Behind the victim, obviously. Right there.
Take that!
With the defendant standing in front of the victim, isn't it possible that the victim could have been struck from behind?
From behind, you say? I see. Yes, I suppose it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Good. Now at least I have some breathing room.
But who'd suppose it could have been?
Oh, the true culprit, naturally. The one who actually committed the theft and murder.
The true culprit? And I suppose you have a true timeline of events to go along with that? I should have known I have to explain everything. Alright, if we assume the true culprit struck the victim from behind, then that means... After going to the treasure room and stealing the treasure, the true culprit tried to escape. But then Mr. Roll appeared making his rounds. I imagine the culprit then quickly hid in the storeroom at the other end of the hallway. You're grasping at straws, Mr. Wright. Admit it, you have nothing but baseless conjecture. I'm gonna look for something to base it on right now. All your base are belong to me now, Mr. Payne. Ahl'bi? When you ran into Mr. Roll in the hallway, was there anyone around the storeroom area? I don't know. There might have been somebody there, but I couldn't see. I was only halfway down the stairs, so I couldn't see the ends of that hallway. I see. Swing and a miss. Oh, Shadow says that someone was there. I see. Thank you for that. Too bad his testimony is inadmissible. You think this is a joke? Maybe the defendant didn't happen to see this other person. But that doesn't mean the true culprit could have been there in the hallway. Objection! Your desperate floundering is getting hard to watch. But I will enjoy watching you sink. What are you talking about? Unfortunately for you, only the accused and the victim were there in that hallway at the time of the incident. How can you continue to make that assertion? Because there was a witness. A very reliable eyewitness. What? Your Majesty, the prosecution would like to call its witness to the stand. Calling an eyewitness to the stand? It's been decades since that's happened. And unlike the defense's witness, you can rest assured that there are no pets involved. That was a low blow. Very well. I'll allow it. And now for something we've not heard in quite some time. Bring the witness to the stand. And this is where we're gonna stop. Sorry, but these cases get way long. Forgive me for doing this, but yeah, I'm ending it here. That is it. I will continue this in the next part. Hopefully I'll have to split that too. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you for when we continue the foreign turnabout. And yes, I'm commentating this because it brings me joy knowing I can do it. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by Capcom.